Finished 9-7, went on that run to win the division at the end of the year, which is embarrassing, by the way, for Dallas, considering Philadelphia's entire wide receiver core was out.
Right.
They were using nothing but tight ends.
Right.
Impression. Mike Groh was the offensive coordinator last year. Are you kidding me? Mike Groh. Anyway, well, it's effectively Doug Pederson. It's a Andy Reid tree team, but I mean, what do you think about this team? The weirdest thing for me is Carson Wentz. Is a fine regular season quarterback. He'll get you to the playoffs, and then he won't play in a postseason game. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm a little bit annoyed with Carson Wentz already. I wish he would just go somewhere and leave the rest of us alone. What's his deal, right? I mean, he's baller, then he's injured, then people don't like him, and then he stinks, then he's I don't understand this guy. I don't get a feel for him, and I'm just so annoyed by him already.
Let me read through the 2019 target listing, right? Okay, so who got the most targets on this team? In order, Zach Ertz had 135, which you'd expect. He led the team.
Yeah.
Second on the list, Dallas Goedert, 87, second on the team. Top two targeted receivers there, tight ends. Okay, not a receiver. Number 3 on the list was Alshon Jeffrey, who only played in 10 games. Next was Nelson Aguilar. Next was Miles Sanders, a running back. So 3 out of the top 5, not receivers. Then you got Greg Ward and so on and so forth. But the story of the 2019 Philadelphia Eagles is the story of wide receivers not really creating separation because they're all getting hurt. Then they went small ball, and they basically at the end of the year just said, "Oh, please, Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, win us the game. We're going to run the ball, and we're going to throw to you, and we're going to be a ball possession team." And that's, I got to say, they probably would have won that first playoff game. Was it against Seattle? I can't remember, but yeah, they lost their playoff game because Carson Wentz got hurt in the first quarter. I think they would have won that game.
That's right.
And it would have been Seattle because Minnesota played New Orleans in that.
Yes, I think it was Seattle. Yeah, right.
And that would have been a close game. They would have won. So you would have had Philadelphia then likely playing as the 5. They would have been the 4 seed, so they probably would have been playing Minnesota. Minnesota was the 5, so they would have been playing. Why is this escaping me? Green Bay in the second round.
Yeah,
Philadelphia versus Green Bay in the second round. So interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like they need wide receivers, and this Pederson, at least from a fantasy football perspective, and there's always a difference. Like they're winning football games. So if you're an Eagles fan, although you were frustrated by last year and you're frustrated with the Carson Wentz stuff, you got to be happy with the Eagles and the organization because they're winning games and they got you a Super Bowl a couple years ago. But from a fantasy football perspective, that was a little high. That was a Colin Cowherd high pitch. Fantasy football. Yeah, that was a. Yeah, I got it. My balls have to drop. The fantasy football perspective here, the running game just drives me crazy. Miles Sanders is clearly the best running back on that roster, and he has 179 carries last year for 4.6 yards, mind you, 4.6, 179 carries. Jordan Howard gets 119 carries. Boston Scott gets 61, although that was mostly an injury duty. Why aren't they giving the ball to Miles Sanders more? Once they figured out that Miles Sanders was their best offensive player, outside, I guess, you can certainly make the argument for the tight ends there. But let's say Ertz was the number 1, and then Sanders was their guy after that. They started winning games. Doug Pederson, but this is a consistent problem with Doug Pederson. We were talking about Garrett with running the ball and all that stuff. We're talking about McCarthy with that. This is Pederson's thing. Just run with the best freaking running back. What the hell, man? Drives me nuts.
Well, I mean, he does have a few people coming in and out, right? I mean, who's the third guy they got there? I really like him, the taller guy. What the hell's his name?
Are you talking about Jordan Howard? I don't know.
Jordan Howard.
There's so many. And when I do these almanacs, right? Like everybody was like last year, everybody was all on Miles Sanders because he was an early draft pick. Oh, he's going to fill this hole for Philadelphia. And what I do is I'm like, look at Pederson's history. He's not going to utilize him. It's not like Miles Sanders is going to get 200 carries. He's not. He's going to get pulled out of the game. He's going to lose short yardage carries to Jordan Howard. This is what the Eagles do.
I like Jordan Howard.
I like Jordan Howard too, and they're talented running backs, and it'll win you games. But what drives me crazy is like daily fantasy and fantasy. Everybody's like going, "Oh, Miles Sanders was a second-round pick. He's gonna be really great for the Eagles." No, he's not, because he's not going to get the volume. He's not going to get the volume of work. So it drove me a little bit nuts watching this, and I'm just as a tactician. seeing the struggles that Philadelphia had, and they finally, it was almost like begrudgingly because they had no other option. They finally started giving the ball to this guy, and then they went on their run and won the division. It's like, dude, hey, Mr. freaking PhD in the NFL, pay attention, man. Pay attention to the tape. Why is it obvious to me and you, and why is it not obvious to the coaching staff?
Well, I don't know, man. Maybe they're playing more of a chess match and thinking moves ahead. You know
overthinking.
What I mean? I don't know.
Overthinking. I'm not into it.